Hey there, Sherry Johnson here, the founder of Love and Loss, of the Love and Loss podcast and Sherry Johnson Coaching. This is where we help you recover after a miscarriage emotionally and spiritually. Today I want to talk a little bit about this myth that is out there, and that is that you can't grieve someone that you've never met. I don't know where this comes from, whether it's something that we tend to believe in society. It's a societal belief, but I'm not really sure where it's rooted in or what it's rooted in. But this week, my friend Kirsten, she is at TLC Life Coaching. She reminded me this week that it happens more often than we realize. I kind of associated it only with baby loss. But think of the wave of grief that touched so many hearts in all around the world, really, not just America, when George Floyd was killed. There was grief and there was anger. There was many emotions, I think, associated with that. But Kirsten reminded me that it was a year ago this week that Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash. His death impacted so many people in the basketball world and outside of that. And this is something that is really common, to be impacted by a celebrity's death or someone well known. For me, the one that I best recall was the death of Princess Diana. That really impacted me, especially after I watched the funeral service with her boys, and I felt so much grief for them as well. So my friend Kirsten, who's a grief coach, by the way, she went on to say that celebrities connect with us. They're associated, or we associate them with certain memories or certain moments in time, and so we feel their lives have impacted our lives. We feel the impact of their passing. And it can be very confusing to feel sadness at the death of someone that you don't know, and yet it's really quite normal. So I liken this to the way that you might feel after a miscarriage. It is a bit confusing, and I never really could have imagined that I'd feel grief after a miscarriage before I actually had one. I thought, well, it would certainly be disappointing, and I'm sure I would feel sadness, but I didn't anticipate the grief. And I don't even think I called it that when I first started to feel those emotions. And even at the time, it's been almost 5 years since my last miscarriage. Even at the time, I told myself that it's not grief, that this isn't worthy of grief. I felt that you could grieve the loss of a living child, but not one that you'd never met before. And now, of course, I know that that's not true. When you lose a baby, you also have memories connected with that baby. There's the moment that you found out you were pregnant. There's the moments or the conversations that you had with your husband about names for the baby, or what color you're going to paint the room, or all the plans that you had for that baby. There's the moment that you told your mom about your pregnancy, or your best friend or your sister. There's so many memories that happen in such a short period of time. For me, it was, less, in all three cases, all three of my miscarriages, it was less than 11 weeks. But that's a lot of time to create a lot of memories. And then there's also with miscarriage or baby loss, there's the future that you had planned for that baby. There's the dreams that you had for that baby, and you mourn the loss of those dreams as well. I think that's probably also the case with celebrities that I talked about earlier, where you expected to be able to see more movies or more basketball games, and you expected to create more memories with that person, even though you never met them. So there is that mourning of the loss of that future with your baby that is also very valid. So if you've been telling yourself that you can't grieve someone that you've never met, or that your grief is less because you've never met your baby, that's actually a way of invalidating your grief, your own grief. And when you do that, you avoid it. It's a way to pretend that it doesn't exist. And of course that's not working, because your grief is going to keep cropping up, whether you pretend it's not there or whether you acknowledge it. And you're confusing your soul by not acknowledging it, by not validating it yourself. Your soul is aching and wants you to acknowledge those emotions that you're feeling. So if you want to heal from your grief, you actually need to acknowledge it. And I would also go a step further to say that if we want others to validate our grief, we also need to validate our grief. So what I would say to summarize is just that it is normal to feel grief. You might feel a lot of grief for someone that you've never met, and allow yourself to feel that emotion. Remind yourself that it's normal, and be kind to yourself when you feel those feelings of sadness. I'm going to sign off with that. If you're looking for a safe place to connect and where your own grief will feel validated, I would invite you to join my private Facebook community. It's at Miscarriage, Love, and Loss, and there are lots of women over there waiting to connect with you. I hope you'll see you over there. Bye for now.